Bienvenue à Boîte de Personnalité. Welcome to my treasure chest of personality or core identities for my cultural diversity and oppression class 7004 for Professor Coleson. Thank you so much for being here to look at my video and my presentation. We're going to start. I've got 10 things to present in about 10 minutes, and time is of the essence. So what I'm going to present is 5 things external, which externally identify me. These are obviously a source of joy for me, but did come with a certain amount of privilege, and that humbles me a lot to be able to say this. And it really makes me feel like I'm really thankful for the things that I have that I really didn't earn, like most of us, maybe most of us. But I'm going to start off with this treasure chest. Okay, this is an actual treasure chest. My great-grandmother, who we're going to meet in a second, got this as she was going to and from South America. We're going to talk just a little bit about her and her travels as a nurse on a cruise line. And I actually live in this house. This is her house this was her first purchase stateside. That's the number one, but also is her picture right here. So that's this lady. Her name is Amelia Rodriguez, and she was born in St. Mary Parish, and she has a Creole heritage. Her father's side of the family was Los Islanos, and her mother's side of the family was Creole French from New Orleans. And so I'm really thankful to have this picture. It means so much to me, and I'm really thankful to be able to do this, and it helps me identify with the past and how much was done to help me get to where I am today. Also, what I want to talk about a little bit is the reason we're all here. We're all graduates in some way, and this shapes our life right now. This is my graduation cap for my clinical psychology degree that I just got among the other degrees that I have. And so this is a really important part of my identity right now. And it is what's on the surface. It's also what's on the inside, too. I have 3 other things, and we're going to talk about the elephant in the room in just a second. And this also is part of my identity. So I really kind of got a sense of what things were like in this way. Of course, I have 4 children that I've taken care of and nursed, but my daughter, who recently graduated, she decided to ditch these, right? And so the controversy that caused, and then in my journey here as a new MSW student, really has helped me pay attention to why we react the way we do, and over what circumstances or situations. And it can be as little as the choice to not wear a bra. We somehow have an issue with the female body, and so we've got a lot of policy built around the female body, which is really interesting. And of course, it brings life into the world, and it's not without I realize it's not that simple, but sometimes it is. Another thing, and these are kind of personal, we're getting into the more personal part of my identity. And I really, if you couldn't tell, and this is kind of to hide a few things, I love to cut and color my hair quite often, but it's part of my identity externally. And I got to this point by kind of as people grew, as my inner circle grew and got to where they were making my own choices, I realized that the only person I really had control of was myself and my own ideas and actions. And so I said, this is going to be the place that I can express myself and color my hair yellow or orange or wherever it is. And that's the 1 by 1 by 1 area. And of course, as I age, my body is doing a few different things than I would like it to. But I really appreciate this facet of the way that I can express who I am and how I function. So we're almost at the halfway mark. This is a scarf right here, and you can tell by how I'm dressed right now is that I tend to wear scarves, head scarves and headbands, and it's not only to hide bad dye jobs, But I really kind of, this is an Ankh, of course, an eternal life, which I really believe in. But it also, it helps me in a way to, in a strange way, it helps me to get my thoughts about myself. But it also, there was something I read about Sinead O'Connor, the reason that she wore a scarf and converted to Islam, and it was to keep her part of herself special. And in her situation, it was to avoid the male gaze. And so part of this is to just hold back a piece of myself, that I can kind of cherish and say, this is just for me. I can cover this part up, and it's part of myself it's a really a transitional item, and it comforts me a good bit. So let's get right into it here in the eternal stuff. No pun intended. But I'm going to open this treasure chest up. It's a great thing. It's super, super heavy. My daughter brought it to her dorm. She just graduated from LSU. Go Tigers! And she was an architecture major, and she still is, right? So she stuffed this. We have all kinds of art in here. An aside is that if I could really identify myself truly without using objects, it would be with the people in my life, my children, my husband, which kind of sounds like validation, but they're the best part of me. They're the greatest part of me. And I really learned so much about myself. And we're going to take a look at here in just a second about some of the things I learned. And if I could put my animals and my art in here, that's what would be in here. Because it's really so near and dear to me. And it's really hard sometimes to split my personalities um, to just 5 items. And so we'll take a look here. Let's see. So I've got these moccasins. So this is the first item, and we've got about a couple minutes left. These moccasins were handmade just for me. And I don't believe in cultural appropriation, but these moccasins were handmade just for me because my mother had a friend in Arizona who knew I was struggling with my spirituality as a teenager. And he was so great to take my foot measurements. This was before email and all that. I'm almost 50 years old. So he was able to take that and make a moccasin just for me. I use them to get grounded, and they're beautiful. They're one of the best things that I've got in terms of a material item, right? Second thing, let's look at this. This piece of paper is not going to mean much of anything to anybody else except me and my family. This is what's called the Temple Recommend, and it's reserved for a certain kind of discipline. And so I really strive to keep myself and my family and the relationships around it as sacred as a place of worship. And we have a temple in Baton Rouge. The only restrictions that might be there is accessibility to Baton Rouge. It's not based on socioeconomic standards or anything like that. So it's a place that anyone can go if they'd like, and talk to me if you'd like to know more. Okay, a couple more things. I'm running out of time. These are some of the most special things about me. So it's my marriage, my second marriage. So this is to my husband, Neil, and my little daughter, my first child. I have 4 of them. My first child was in our wedding picture. And so it was just a blessing to have all of us together. And this was one of the things that I've learned the most from. And these are hard things to talk about because they're so near and dear to me, but I've learned the most about myself from being married to someone that's wonderful. I'm almost there. We've got about 30 seconds left, but look, here are all my armbands. I've got 4 kids, and these represented the birth of my children and our own little place where my kids got to be their own person for the first time. And so they had their identity all to themselves, and it was really something. Hearing and seeing and loving people that grow and learn I would recommend being a parent to anyone, a caregiver to anyone, and it's a beautiful thing that really has hardly any limits in the way that it pays back. The last thing, and this is kind of a little bit different. This is this is a palette, an eyeshadow palette, and I get kind of giddy about it because it's kind of the same thing as the hair dye. It's a part of me that that represents my own creativity and the way that I can make choices and change the things that I think are true, and grow in knowledge and learn, and really personalize things for myself. And sometimes that starts with basic things like pigment. Who would have guessed? But there you go. There's a whole artistic world out there, and it teaches us a lot about ourselves too. So thank you for attending this presentation. I'm so grateful to know about diversity, and to also know a little bit the amount that I get to know as a white middle class American in Louisiana. And I'm thankful to know about that because it opens my eyes. It's going to help me to help my clients a whole lot better. And even as a nurse, seeing that at ground level where it really makes a difference in people's health, in their mind and body, helps my life to be so much more. Thank you so much. Bye.